Tiny earbuds with big sound. Let's check these out. Dave Taylor here, and I'm checking out these. These are the SoundPEATS Air3 Deluxe wireless, true wireless stereo or TWS earbuds. And they're pretty sweet, actually. They're powered by a 14.2 millimeter driver, and they give you a lot of sound. We'll come back to the sound in a little bit. Bluetooth 5.2, aptX adaptive, true wireless mirroring, which is their fancy word for saying you can listen to either bud or both. And so if you want to do just hear some background conversation or something, you can use one while you're charging the other and then switch, and it's seamless. Very handy. 5 hours of listening per pod, and then 3 more charges from the case gives you a total of 22 hours of battery life. And in case it's not obvious, this is really small. It's a really tiny case. It's extremely light. USB-C charging on the bottom, and then the earbuds themselves, you'll notice that they don't have ear tips, so there's no fiddling around trying to get the right size for your ears. This is a one size fits all, and as you can see in the close-up, it's a pretty nice looking design. Actually, they're pretty elegant looking. So they have 4 microphones for voice. So if I put this one in, let's see, this is left, and then this one is right. So if I put these in, it's actually using 4 different microphones to pick up audio. And I'll give you a demo in just a second. Let me just say that they're also using CVC 8.0 built atop the Qualcomm 3040 chip, which is pretty much state of the art with everything. Now, let's make sure these are paired with my phone, and I'll go ahead and give you that demo. They look like they're connected. So I'm going to go to voice. Let's see, there's a handy voice recorder on the phone. So this is my iPhone 13 Pro, soon to be an iPhone 14 Pro, I assume. We'll see. And now it should be recording from the earbuds. So what you're hearing now is the audio picked up from the actual SoundPEATS Air3 Deluxe. And as you can hear, it's a pretty nice audio quality. So there's really nothing to complain about here. Now, the biggest, well, hang on. Let me switch back to my regular microphone. Okay, so the biggest limitation with these is that there's no ANC. There's no active noise canceling. So if you're in a noisy environment, you're going to turn the volume up on these to try to mask all that background noise, and that's not always great for your hearing. One of the things I like about that active noise canceling, and SoundPEATS makes ANC units, but one of the things that's nice about it is it lets you listen to music at a lower volume and still get rid of a lot of that ambient and environmental noise around you. Handy. Now, back to these. They have a game mode with 60 millisecond latency. If you're going to use these and you're playing a game of some sort, then that's really important. A lot of games use audio cues to tell you that, for example, someone's behind you and you have to deal with it right now. And if you have a slow delay or latency on that, that can be problematic. Now, even without game mode, I found these were fast enough, and this again, I think is Bluetooth 5.2, but you can absolutely watch video content on your device and everything looks like it's in sync. That timing of the game mode is really because games are so time sensitive. But if you want to watch YouTube or a streaming channel like Netflix or HBO Max or something, you'll find that non-game mode works fine, and it's a little bit better battery life if you don't turn that on. They are also IPX4 water and splash resistant, so you can't swim with them. They'd float off your ears anyway. But you can actually have them get wet without a crisis. Now, let me show you one more thing. Let's get this recording. And there is actually a SoundPeats app. So I'm going to launch the app, and you can see that it's paired with the earbuds, and it looks like they are needing some charge, but what's really nice is that there's a lot of EQ settings here. So the adaptive EQ, you can do that. It gives you like a hearing test, and then it can modify its curve to compensate for what you can hear really well, maybe mid-range, and hear not so well, maybe really high-pitched sounds. So you can always choose an EQ too, and I have it to fashionable because who doesn't want to hear fashionable music, right? But you could do something like bass boost if you want, then I'll go back. Or you could do a custom equalizer, which is, these are pretty standard features on all of these apps nowadays. And you can turn on and off game mode. Let's turn that off. And you'll notice that I have disable touch key one-click functionality. And so one of the things that's the case with these sort of devices, and let me go ahead and stop that recording. One of the things that happens is because they're so touch sensitive that sometimes if you put your hand up just to push it back in or get it to adjust just so, sometimes you've just activated a function and that lets you disable that if that becomes problematic. I didn't find it to be a big issue, but sometimes I do find that I'm like readjusting these. Honestly, I kind of prefer having different size ear tips because I have ear canals that are on the larger side, and that means that these felt like they weren't super securely in. Now, having said that, I did wear them, I moved around, I mowed the lawn, always a risky one in case it falls and you mow it, but they stayed in really well. But every so often I found myself pushing them in just a little bit. So, this is something where for most people, I think for the average person, these probably work great. But if you have atypically small or atypically large ear canals, you might find that comfort and fit is something that ends up being an issue. Now, what we also need to talk about, of course, is the sound, and they sound really good. SoundPEATS has put some really nice drivers in here, and particularly in a quiet environment, it gives you a big, full, rich sound, and it's something that's very enjoyable. It has a nice response all the way up the frequency. You get nice bass, especially if you put on like bass boost like I did, then you're gonna get a nice drop on your electronica, and the highs on that violin solo, probably not in the same piece of music, but those highs are not going to be tinny or jarring. They're going to be pleasant, right? And soundstage wise, it's a big soundstage. For the price, these actually have really nice sound. Again, my two biggest issues with them is number one, there is no ANC, and that's not really a fair issue because this is just what they are, right? But the other one is that they don't have different size ear tips, and sometimes one size fits all isn't quite as good as being able to fine-tune that size to fit the dimensions of your ear. This is going to be something you will maybe have an issue with, maybe you won't. So, important for you to know. Otherwise, lots to like. Now, we do need to talk about the price. Let me put these back in so they are charging. And we should talk about the price, like I said. But before we get there, let me ask if you could subscribe to my channel. Click or a tap on that subscribe button and we're connected. How easy is that? And then don't forget to turn on notifications so you get updates every time I post new content, and I post new content a lot. I have a lot of gear coming every week because companies want me to check it out, and that's to your benefit. Sweet. Now, these are the SoundPEATS Air3 Deluxe wireless earbuds. They come in black or white. I'll let you guess which one this is. And they're $49.99 minus 10% right now at Amazon.com, making them $44.99 at Amazon.com. For $45, these are a pretty solid upgrade. I would say they are fairly comparable to the Apple AirPods. Not the Pro, because the Pro gives you that ANC feature, but otherwise these are a nice, far less expensive option than the Apple choice. And these, of course, will also work with Android, with your Windows PC if it has Bluetooth. Really, any device that supports Bluetooth, you can use these, and you'll find that the sound is really good. Just don't plan on using them if you're going to be in a really loud environment unless you're perfectly happy cranking that music up. So, that's all I got. I think I'm going to go back to my music. So, whoops, let me get that back in my ear. And I'll catch you in my next video.